What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Prophecy Misfits Podcast. This is episode 325. Shoot 'em up. And we are busting out the shovels, the scuba gear, the submarine, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go digging. We're going to go diving, and we're going to be taking a look at some stuff regarding the shooter situation that just happened. And I'm sure you guys have heard enough about the shooter situation itself. I'm going to try and take a look and show you what's going on that could possibly become relevant because of that situation. So we're going to be taking a dive into that. There's a lot of things that we're going to be looking at, and yeah, it should be a good time. We don't do this too often. We used to do it a lot more before, but because there's so much news going on every single hour, that's what it seems like. We're just trying to keep up with that, but I think this is a good one to go ahead and dive into. So yeah, welcome in. But yeah, this is what we do on Tuesdays and Saturdays. We get together and we take a look at all the crazy, ridiculous stuff that's happening currently around us in our times right now. And these appear to be, from what we can see, stepping stones and foreshadows to eventual prophetic events that will happen post-rapture into the day of the Lord. And so that's what we do is we get together, chats there to fellowship, and all that type of stuff. And we'll just go over things and talk about things and discuss things. And yeah, so if this is your first time here, welcome in. Glad to have you here. We are the Misfits for a reason. We don't hold to the standards of what you would normally find in a Christian channel. Of course, we abide by Christ, of course, but we definitely take a look at some of the topics and subjects that others don't want to touch. But glad to have you here and welcome in. So, but yeah, as I said, this is going to be Shoot 'em Up. We're going to be doing a deep dive, a lot of information, a lot of stuff going on. If you've never been along on one of these trips before, grab a notebook, press pause often, whatever you want to do. We're going to go through a whole bunch of information, talk about a bunch of things. If this is not your first rodeo with me, well, you know what to do. So good stuff. But yeah, glad to have you guys here. And thanks for spending your Saturday here. It is Saturday, right? It is. Okay. Can't keep track. All right. Let's see what y'all are up to in the chat. You absolutely crazy hooligans up in here. Just pick a spot here. With Amanda. Amanda is here. Are we talking babies in here? What? We got babies? I don't have any babies. I don't know what's going on. I'm about to have a new grandbaby any day now. Well, congratulations for your grandbaby. That's good stuff. And happy for you, Amanda. And thank you for being here. And congratulations again. That's awesome. We got Nancy West as well. Good to see you, Nancy. Talking about peppers. Of course, the food is already going on. Good to see you, Nancy. Thanks for being here. Let's see. We got Rosetta is here as well. Good to see you, Rosetta. Hopefully you're doing all right tonight. And Gracie is here as well. Good to see you, Gracie. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you and Sean are doing all right tonight. Proton Girl is here. Good to see you, Proton. Thanks for spending your evening here. And it's always good to see you. So hopefully you're doing all right. Heather Sweetser, one of those. Knowing me, I probably got all three of those wrong. Good to see you, Heather. Thanks for being here. And yes, hello, everyone. Please say hello to Heather. It is the polite thing to do, but good to see you, Heather. Thanks for being here. Jojo by his grace. Always good to see you here. And I'll meet you down by the river. Good stuff. A Misfit Peanut. Nice picture with the dog smile. That reminds me of those old, you guys remember those old Pedigree commercials where they like had the human teeth in the dogs, and so they had these big teeth and big smiles and stuff. That your picture reminds me of that. Also, do me a favor, everybody, wish the Peanut Gallery a happy birthday, because I hear it's her birthday. So wish her a happy birthday, and just embarrass her and flood her. I don't think she can be embarrassed, which is a good thing, but happy birthday, Peanut. Let's see, Mac is here. What's up, Mac? Also with the doggo picture, gotta love it. Good to see you, man. And thanks for being here. And hopefully you're doing all right tonight. Hopefully you had a good week. Dino Spumoni is in the house. Good to see you, Dino. Always good to see you. And thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Patter is here as well, the Pitter Patter. I knew I heard the Pitter Patter of Patter over there. Good to see you, Patter. Thanks for spending your Saturday evening here. Carol is here as well. Always good to see you, Carol. And thanks for being here. And hopefully you had a good week. And hopefully you're getting some rest this weekend. Patrick is here as well, causing the problems. and solving the problems at the same time. I don't know how you do it, but you do it. Good to see you, man. Appreciate you. Rick is here as well. Good to see you, Rick. Lori S is here as well. Hi, family, made it back. Well, where'd you go? And you weren't gone for that long, so that's good, but glad to see you. Glad you're here. Jackalope is here as well. I brought my shovel for tonight. Good stuff. Hopefully you waxed it and it's good to go. But good to see you, Jack. Ebsy from across the pond. Good to see you, Ebsy. And thank you for being here and just being you. Appreciate you. Not of this world is here. Oh, no need to applaud for me. Oh, no, they thought you were leaving, and so they were applauding, but then you came back, and that's why they stopped. So good to see you. I'll hear about that one later. Good to see you. Terry Kissor is here as well. Good to see you, Terry. Thanks for being here. Country Darling as well. Always good to see you, Darling. Appreciate you. Every time I say it like that, I think of Darla from Little Rascals. Darla. But good to see you, Country Darling. Judah is here. Good to see you, man. Glad to see you in here. We're praying for you. If you guys can, please keep Judah in your prayers. He's dealing with a lot of health problems right now. So please be praying for him. Patricia Schultz is here as well. Good to see you. And Abby Normal, hiding her face. Not sure why, but good to see you, Abby. Thanks for being here. Rachel C as well. Talking about broccoli. I got the food talk going on. Broccoli's one of my favorite vegetables, actually. But good to see you, Rachel. Hello, Beloved is here as well. Good to see you. Shirley Recovering is here as well. I don't think I recognize that name, but good to see you, Shirley. Glad to have you here. Hey, Jalapeno's back. Good to see you, Jalapeno. Need a double dose of shenanigans tonight to make up for Tuesday. Good to see you, man. Hopefully you're doing all right tonight. Mindy Grant as well. Good to see you, Mindy. Thanks for being here. Let's see here. Who else we got going on over Rumble? We got Peanuts over there too. Let's see. We got Joan. I don't ever know how to pronounce that. Joan Durso. Good to see you. Not of This World is over there as well. CL Moody. Good to see you. Michelle is here as well. Good to see you. In his image, Katie is over there as well. Good to see you, Katie. Jacques. Father's Day here in Australia. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, our best fathers in heaven. Ooh. Well, happy Father's Day, Jacques, and to all the fathers over in that region of the world. And yes, the great Father sits above us, but good to see you. Romaha is here as well, and Jody is here as well. Good to see you, Jody. And then on the website, we got Patricia Schultz is over there. Sherry M is over there as well. Good to see you. Save the Ostriches. I like the name. That's great. Save the Ostriches. Good to see you, Ostrich. Kelly Marie is over there as well. Good to see you guys. That's a great name. I like it. All right. If I don't pick you out, it's not that I don't like it. It's just we got a bunch of stuff to get to tonight. But first up, housekeeping.
Housekeeping?
No, thank you. Sleeping.
Housekeeping?
All right, for housekeeping, usual spiel. If you guys can, like, share, subscribe, get this out to as many people as you can. Not about views, not about butts and seats, but it is about getting the warning out to people, getting people to Jesus. That's why we do this. That's the whole point. If we're not here to point people towards Jesus and share the gospel, then what on earth are we doing this for? Selfish reasons at that point, and we don't want to do that. So if you guys can, though, like, share, subscribe. It helps reach people who have questions, who are seeking some type of understanding of what is going on, and then ultimately need Jesus. They need the gospel of Jesus. So liking, sharing, and subscribing does help reach those people. Also, if you guys can, follow me Rumble and Telegram. Those are my backup channels. If I get booted off YouTube, we'll be back up live streaming over on Rumble. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow me over there. And then Telegram, post updates, announcements, and other little things that I can't necessarily put in video format. I throw it up on Telegram and whatnot. But if you don't want Rumble, you don't want Telegram, I understand. The best place to stay up to date, of course, is the official WretchedWatchmen.com website. Make sure you guys bookmark the website. It's got everything that we need right there. It's available to you. You get the announcements over there, the live streaming. It's got the video vault for all the past podcasts that we're doing over there as well, and a bunch of other stuff. So everything that you want to know can be found on that website. So make sure you guys bookmark that. And last but not least, if you guys like to support this channel, what I got going on, I got donation links down below. CashApp, Venmo, and Give, Send, Go. This channel's not monetized. I don't make anything from ads, views, anything like that. It runs solely off of your guys' donations. So if you guys would like to support this channel, come up aside and support what's going on. I certainly appreciate it. And I thank you guys for your support because, well, we wouldn't be able to do this without you. And so thank you guys for that. I definitely appreciate it. Especially past couple weeks. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy time around the Misfit basement over here for sure. But yeah, you guys are awesome, and the true Misfits are sticking around. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for that. All right, and that's that. All right. Looks like Judah's got an update. Judah's venous thrombosis in my leg and now a pulmonary embolism going on besides other concerns. Yes, please keep Judah in your prayers, everybody. It's been a rough going for him lately, and it looks like he's still got some stuff going on. So we'll be praying for you, Judah. Just rest up and lean on the Lord. He's the great physician, the grand physician, and he's got a doctor's hand that nobody else has. So we'll be praying for you, man. All right. It is Saturday, which means we got ourselves the Wretched Weather Report.
Everybody got their fancy hats? Let's go!
All right, everybody got the fancy hats. We're going to go ahead. There we go. And roll into what we got going on with the Wretched Weather Report. What we do is we keep track of the trends of what's going on when it comes to earthquakes and volcanoes and storms and hurricanes and all the crazy stuff going on with natural events around the world. As we know, these natural events or birth pains are going to increase in size and frequency as we get closer and into the day of the Lord, and all these things are going to increase and fluctuate and get bigger and stronger and more frequent and whatnot. So we just keep track of what's going on. I'm not a geologist or a meteorologist or proctologist or podiatrist or any of those things. Not the Queen of England either. Yeah, anyways. We're none of those things, but we just keep track of what's going on because I think it's a good thing. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of time doing it, but at least just knowing what's going on, the trends, and how things are evolving around the world is always good. We do know that there's weather manipulation happening. We also know that God is also stirring things up. As well as we get closer to crazy time. There's really no other way to put it. And so there's a lot of elements that are happening in regards to this. But as we can see with earthquakes, 5.5 magnitude and up this past week, not a lot, only 5. Of course, there's other smaller ones going on, but we just keep track of the 5.5 and up. And so we got ourselves a 5.9 in the South Sandwich Islands, which is kind of off the coast of Argentina there. If you don't know where that's at, I wonder if they serve good sandwiches. I mean, if you are the Sandwich Islands, you better have the best sandwiches in the world, am I right? Anyways, then there's a 6.0 in Basawul, Afghanistan. And there's a 6.0 Alaska, United States. And then there's a 5.9 in San Antonio de las Cabres, Argentina. And then there's a 5.6 in Jalalabad, Afghanistan. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. That just seems kind of excessive, but Jalalabad, Afghanistan. With volcanoes, we got ourselves 43 volcanoes actively erupting around the world right now, which is +1 from last week, which we are still below the global average. We were at 42 last week. Now we're at 43, and we're still below that usual average. So lower amount of earthquakes, and the volcanoes are down as well. But we got 8 in North America, 4 in South America, 2 in Europe, 3 in Antarctica, 3 in Africa, 16 in Asia, and 7 in Oceania, which is +1 from last week. And that's where we get our 43 from. So that's what we got going on right now involving volcanoes and the earthquakes as well. And then I want to point this out. There's that 5.6 in Jalalabad, Afghanistan. This was a pretty bad one. As of September 4th, death toll from Afghanistan earthquake jumps to more than 2,200 as aid agencies plead for funds. So this was a pretty devastating earthquake over there in Afghanistan. Jalalabad, Afghanistan. Hundreds more bodies have been recovered from houses and mountain villages destroyed by a major earthquake in Afghanistan earlier this week, pushing the death toll to over 2,200. Taliban government spokesperson said Thursday. The shallow 6.0 quake. Okay, so this was the 6.0. This wasn't the 5.6. Struck the mountainous and remote part of the country late Sunday, leveling villages and trapping people under the rubble. Most of the casualties have been in Kunar province, where people typically live in wood and mud brick houses along steep river valleys, separated by high mountains. 98% of the buildings in the province were damaged or destroyed, according to the assessment issued Thursday by the Islamic Relief Charity. 8 agencies said that they are in sorely need of staff and supplies to tend to the region's survivors. And then it talks about late Thursday, the 5.6 magnitude quake rattled Jalalabad in Nangarhar province, which is south of the hardest hit Kunar province, though there were no immediate reports of casualties or damage there. So, be praying for those in Afghanistan. I always like to remind us of this, just because I think it's good. We just naturally tend to, because it's Afghanistan and we understand that there's all the crazy stuff that's going on over there in those Stan regions and An regions and all that stuff in the Middle East, that sometimes we forget that there are just innocent human lives that are there going about their daily lives. They're not caught up in all that type of stuff. And so there is suffering that's going on. People lost homes. 98% of the homes in that region either damaged or destroyed altogether. We know that Jesus likes to work through traumatic events and devastating events. That's usually where he shines brightest, honestly. And so we can pray in times like this that people come to Christ. Just be praying for those who lost family. Pray for the Lord to come up beside them and bring them comfort and peace in this time. And hopefully they'll be able to find the Lord through there. We do know that there are some believers in that region as well. Just pray that not only are they comforted and taken care of in these times, but they also shine the light of Jesus for those who don't know the Lord, as they go about and help the region and whatnot. So definitely be praying for those in Afghanistan during this time. It's not fun. It's not a good situation. Remember, the Lord does not want anyone to perish. You got to remember that. It's hard for us as humans because we all got enemies and stuff like that, but the Lord doesn't want anyone to perish. Let's just remember that in these times. So, okie dokie. Before we start diving into everything, I do want to do an update on this real quick, because this is something that we've been keeping tabs on, and we actually had quite a few updates just recently, and it's this Venezuela thing. This is something that I was telling you guys, I think it's probably worth keeping an eye on, keeping tabs on, and there seems to be more and more stuff arising from it. Now, again, we don't know exactly what this will unfold into, but the fact that there seems to be a lot more smoke happening tells me that there might be some fire coming along the way. So we've been talking about this. The United States is moving ships, moving personnel into the Caribbean region off the coast of Venezuela and all that stuff. We already saw reports that there was a speedboat that was shot with 11 people in there. It's questionable. I'll just put it that way. It's questionable if that was actually a drug boat like they're claiming it was, because a lot of the situation doesn't make sense if it was, but I'll just leave it there. So there's questionable things happening on that front, but we got some interesting stuff happening. So Trump downplays possible regime change in Venezuela, but the U.S. deploys stealth fighter jets into the region. It says the United States is not talking about regime change in Venezuela, Trump said on Friday, as the United States ordered an additional 10 stealth fighter jets to a military buildup in the Caribbean. We're not talking about that, but we are talking about the fact that you had an election that was a very strange election, to put it mildly. Trump said, referring to the contested 2024 election, Venezuela government said President Nicolas Maduro won. Trump had been asked by the reporter about a claim Maduro was made this week that the United States was seeking regime change through military threat. The government of the United States should abandon its plan of violent regime change in Venezuela and in all of Latin America and respect sovereignty, the right to peace, to independence, Maduro said on the state television. Whatever your view of the election, whatever your view of Maduro, whatever the fact is, there's something that is, historical events. It's been a continuous unraveling thing that where the United States have to go and stick their thumb into everything. It is not our responsibility to go into a country that had a rigged election and overthrow anything. We know that the United States has been doing it for decades. Decades they've been doing this. But it's even so, it's not our responsibility. Venezuela is in the condition that they're in. If they had a rigged election, whether I haven't looked into it, so I'm not going to say one way or the other. But if there was, which there probably was, because elections are garbage anyways, the fact is it's up to them, the people that live there, to deal with their own problems. It's not our problem. But that's just geopolitical stuff for you. That's just how it goes. It says Trump demonstrated the new approach to fighting the drug war with the U.S. military strike on Tuesday that killed 11 people and sank a boat from Venezuela, which Trump said was transporting illegal narcotics. Again, you can look deeper into that if you want to. I question if it was a drug boat at all. The U.S. president is weighing options for further strikes, including potentially attacking suspected drug cartels targets inside Venezuela, hence the stealth fighters. CNN reported on Wednesday, citing multiple sources briefed at the administration's plans. And the Trump administration has ordered the deployment of 10 F-35 fighter jets to a Puerto Rico airfield to conduct operations against drug cartels. The new deployment comes on top of the already bristling U.S. military presence in the Southern Caribbean as Trump carries out a campaign pledged to crack down on groups funneling drugs into the United States. More war on drugs stuff. So we got that. We got fighter jets in there, talks one way or the other of regime change and all that type of stuff. We also have this. It says the U.S. in amphibious landing exercise underway in Puerto Rico, where those jets were just sent, as tensions rise with Venezuela. As U.S. deploys an armada of ships and aircraft to the Southern Caribbean, at least partly aimed at Venezuelan's dictator Maduro, the U.S. Navy and the Marines are conducting an amphibious landing training exercise in southern Puerto Rico. While the U.S. Marine Corps does not make any mention of Maduro or Venezuela in its media release, which they wouldn't, about the exercise, the move comes as tensions are mounting between Washington and Caracas over the flow of illegal narcotics. The Trump administration considers Maduro a narco-terrorist and has raised the award for his arrest to $50 million. You can catch up here, whatever. So we have this. So we got planes there, or new jets, stealth jets there. We got the amphibious landing exercise underway. And we got this. Venezuela flies military aircraft near U.S. Navy ship for a second time, the Pentagon says. For the second time in 2 days, Venezuela has flown military aircraft in the vicinity of the USS Jason Dunham in international waters near South America. Multiple Defense Department officials confirmed to CBS News Friday, describing the action as turning into a game of chicken. The aircraft, which one Defense Department, or now it's the War Department. I don't know if you guys caught that, but it's now, even though it needs to go through Congress, they just went around them, and now it's the Department of War, if you didn't catch that. So, which one Defense Department official said were F-16 fighter jets, flew over the Dunham sometime overnight Thursday. It was unknown if the aircraft was armed. The Dunham, an Aegis guided missile destroyer, did not engage. The official said the aircraft was within weapons range for both the aircraft and the ship, the officials said there. And then I don't have an article for it, but just yesterday, Trump came out and said, basically giving permission to the captains of the captain of that region over there, saying if the decision is yours if you want to shoot down the planes if they come across the ships again. So that's interesting, to say the least. So there's been a lot of moves happening. Now, just because there's all these moves, these little chess piece moves going on, doesn't necessarily mean that anything's going to blow up. However, when you have that much smoke happening, there usually tends to be a fire that follows behind it. So again, I just wanted to keep you guys updated on what's going on with this. I don't know if this is going to unfold into something or fizzle out, or this is possibly part of some other thing, event that's going to take place. Just keep an eye on what's going on. We don't necessarily talk about these geopolitical moves and these military moves that often here. But when I think that there might be something to it, I will definitely let you guys know. And in this case, it seems like there is something that is unfolding right now. So let's just keep an eye on this Venezuela stuff. Keep an eye on the military situation. And again, if you guys come across anything, let me know. And we'll go from there and we'll see how it unfolds. So that's just an update that I wanted to put in there to let you guys know and keep you updated, because this stuff can change pretty quick and I didn't want to wait. I just wanted to get it out for you guys. Okay. Is staying active to deflect the flies release questions? I'm not sure what that's about. Anyways, okay. You guys are talking about Jimmy Buffett in there as well? My word. Y'all are ridiculous. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and move into the main course of what we got going on tonight to keep it food related. And we're going to take a look at the situation regarding the shooter. Now, again, as I said in the beginning, if you've been around when we've done a dive, a dig, whatever you want to call it before, there's a lot of information, a lot of news articles, a lot of stuff that I'll be pulling up and talking about. So just kind of hang with us. But if you're brand new, strap in and have some fun, I guess, because these are always kind of fun to go through, even though it might not be a happy topic, to say the least. But there's a lot of interesting things, a lot of names and stuff popping up in regards to this. Now, we're not going to take a look at the shooter himself. I'm sure you guys have heard all up and down about the shooter, the trans shooter that went into the Catholic school, and the stuff written on the magazines and his quote unquote writings. And you can only believe so much when it comes to what the officials release, because these things are psyops and false flags, and they're all over it. But the thing is there's real stuff that happens that they inject with their false stuff. And so it always keeps you guessing. You never really know what the deal is. We're not going to focus on the shooter. We're not going to focus on any of that. What I want to talk about is what could possibly be the footsteps, the leading up, the build up to their response to the shooter. There's been quite a few shootings recently. I don't know about you guys, but I've taken a look, and there tends to be an uptick in shooters when Trump is in office compared to when Biden was in office, which is pretty interesting. Not as much this term, but as last time, there was a lot going on that was happening. And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you what's going on, because trends are always important to take a look at. So first off, start off with this. Robin Westman, who's a dude, even though he claims to be a woman and all that type of stuff. Robin Westman is the latest transgender mass shooter to spark national debate. So we understand that there's the trans shooter that happened, went into the Catholic school, did what he did. I got to be kind of careful what I say, because I'm still on YouTube and whatnot. And what followed from that is really the jumping off point that we want to talk about. And it was none other than a tweet, a response tweet from Melania Trump. Excuse me. And this is what I want to jump off of. This is the starting point, because this is clear cut, in my opinion. This was a direct shot across the bow when it comes to what they want to do. And we have record that this was something that Trump wanted to do during his first time, which is just conveniently glossed over by people. And he seems to be pushing it further this time. And so this came out following the event. This is the tragic mass, keep in mind this, Melania Trump, the tragic mass killing in Minnesota illuminates the need for preemptive intervention in identifying potential school shooters. Preemptive, pre-crime, predetermination. That's what she's getting at. Early warning signs are often evident, with many individuals exhibiting concerning behaviors and making violent threats online prior to their actions. To prevent future tragedies, it is crucial that we look into behavioral threat assessments across all levels of society. me say that again. To prevent future tragedies as a preemptive intervention, it is crucial that we look into behavioral threat assessments across all levels of society, beginning in our homes, extending through school districts, and of course, social media platforms. So in your home, in your school and workplace, and online, your social platforms. Being aware of these warning signs and acting quickly can save lives and make American communities safer. What she's talking about is she's talking about increased surveillance. She's talking about pre-crime systems. She's talking about full access to your private lives in your home, in your school, in your work, and on your social media, and talking about collecting that data in order to determine if you are going to be a threat to somebody else or yourself. And this is usually the call that they start putting out whenever we see these events unfolding. So, like I said, this is not new for the Trumps. And I might put Melania along with Donald here. This is not new for the Trumps. And I've talked about this in the Trump card episode that I did a couple months before the 2024 selection. This was one of the main things that I wanted to talk about, showing that he don't give a rip about your privacy at all. He's all about installing this brand new digital system, this technocratic monster that they're trying to build. So if we go back, this is 2019. It says Trump calls on the Department of Justice to work with social media companies to identify mass shooters. He was calling for this back then during his first term. It says President Trump on Monday, again, this was in 2019, called on the Department of Justice to work closely with social media companies to identify potential mass shooters, in remarks that largely focused on how technology can enable real-world violence. Here's another one. Trump asked, this is 2019, Trump asked tech companies to detect mass shooters before they strike. Trump called for a wide range of bipartisan solutions to help stop future mass shootings, even proposing social media companies create technology that detects potential shooters. And after these mass shooting events took place, and I showed this on the Trump card episode, you can go take a look at it. It's a video of him sitting around the table saying, to heck with due process. We want to take the guns first before we even classify if the person is guilty of anything. Preemptively, we're going to take the guns first, and then we'll deal with all the paperwork and the due process and so on and so forth. And so this has always been his deal. This has always been. And again, the reason why I bring this up, this is not politics. This is not a vendetta against anybody. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because when you have him in the first place getting this groundwork laid, and I'll show a key piece of that in just a second. When you lay the groundwork during his first term, then you bring in Biden and cause all types of chaos. You start allowing this stuff to run rampant and run free. People are going to start begging for Trump's order again. So then you install Trump again, like that was the plan from the very beginning. And people are now going to be begging for the very stuff that they were against before. This is how you play and manipulate society to go along with what they want to do. And so this is how they do it. And so this has always been a part of his situation. He's always been doing this. And so back then, he worked with none other than William Barr. It might be hard to read. William Barr, who was the Attorney General at the time. And they were working on the program DEEP. It was the DEEP program, the DEEP program, which is the implementation of the National Disruption and Early Engagement Programs to counter the threat of mass shootings. And this was to work with all aspects of the Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA, all these agencies that were all going to work together in order to utilize tech, utilize future technology, utilize behavioral monitoring programs in order to determine if somebody would be a threat to society in some type of way, so they can go and arrest them preemptively before they even do anything wrong. Go and arrest them. So bye-bye to the rights, get rid of the rights. And this all came from a meeting when Trump had a meeting with William Barr, as well as another guy, I can't remember his name, but he was the guy connected to Walmart, who came up with the Safe Home program, which had to do with building technology that reads the brainwaves of people to determine if they're under stress and could become violent. It was the Safe Home project, which eventually transitioned into the Deep program. And they partnered with people like Amazon and the people who make like Fitbits and so on and so forth. We just talked about the Aura Ring, which is basically the same thing. You wear the ring and it determines all that type of stuff. And it's about utilizing this technology to read the human brainwaves to determine if they're going to be a problem, so they can then go and arrest them. So this is a program that was started back then. Again, this was October of 2019 that this was implemented back then. And so this is the direction that they've been moving for a while, for a long time. I mean, we saw, go back to Bush, Obama, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden. They've all been implementing certain aspects of it over time. But now we're at the point where we're starting to see the digital infrastructure of this, not only the hardware, but the software being implemented to make it happen. And so when we see these shooters and then we start to see the call for these programs to be unleashed to invade our privacy, to invade our own heads, to determine if we're going to be a threat to ourselves or to the public, even though we've never made that determination ourselves, but they're going to go ahead and start taking us out because of it. This is the program that they want to do. So when I see something like that shooter take place, and then I see Melania Trump come out and say, we need preemptive stuff to determine based on behavior, it's like, okay, we're starting to see the ball rolling again. And so what I want to talk about, what I dived into was a company that I talked about on the Trump card. I didn't get in depth on it, but it was a company that I talked about that is already in the United States. It's a foreign company already in the United States, already plugged into, I think it's 23 states already. And they're already starting to build this surveillance and pre-crime system here. And because of what's been going on, they just signed a massive deal with a whole bunch of other companies in July. And then, of course, we have the shooter now. And so it's starting to move a bit quicker, starting to move a bit further. And so I wanted to look into this company a little bit more than I did the last time and kind of put it all together so I could let you guys know how deep this thing really goes. And it brings up some big names along the way. And the company is Carbine. And I've talked about Carbine before. And Carbine is an Israeli company that uses AI, backdoor spyware, and the 911 emergency service in order to build a system to collect data, audio, visual, GPS data, and personal data in order to ping emergency services and have AI route, auto route responders to the situation. That's only one aspect of it. So this company basically gets plugged into the 911 responder situation, and if somebody calls 911, it'll then backdoor access ping your phone, whoever calls it in, gathers data. If there's video happening, they can gather the video, it'll record the audio, it'll ping the GPS, and if there's any other phones around that, they can backdoor spyware themselves into those phones in order to get a perfect geolocation, in order to record whatever those situations are going on in order to determine the reality of it. The next evolution that they want to do with this has to do with automatic AI response. And they want to make it so you don't even have to call 911 anymore. It'll be plugged into the surveillance system. And if it determines that there has been a event of some type of crime event or whatever they want to determine it as, the AI will automatically gather that data and instantly send a responder to it without anybody even having to call 911. That's the next evolution of what they want to do with Carbine. We're not there yet, from my understanding, but as of right now, it's the ultimate spyware ping recording system that we have. And so this was something that was built by several people from the Israeli cybersecurity, IDF forces, and intelligence community over there, with some partners all across the world. I don't want to jump too far ahead. We'll get to that. So yeah, Carbine, our mission is to empower communities and organizations to respond effectively during critical moments. Designed to remove barriers in emergency response, Carbine provides support and enables responders to act with the confidence and clarity they need. Carbine was founded in 2015 by Amir El-Khai after a personal experience revealed a critical gap in emergency communication. After being robbed at the beach, Amir called local emergency services only to discover that they couldn't verify his location or send immediate help. This moment highlighted the disconnect between modern communication technology and outdated emergency response system. As Amir observed, if Uber can pinpoint your location, why can emergency services? So when you call 911, it automatically pings your exact location via GPS and then starts recording the situation. If there's other systems, other phones or security systems around, it'll start pinging those too so they can get a full view, audio, video, GPS of everything that's going on in that region, and so on and so forth. So the NG911 emergency system created by Carbine. And with that, as of July, it says Carbine raised another $100 million in funding to accelerate AI-powered emergency response and intelligence. And it says New York, July 31st, 2025. Carbine, the leading provider of the cloud-based, cloud-native emergency communications and response solutions, today announced that it raised $100 million in new financing. This funding round underscores Carbine rapid growth and will enable the company to accelerate development of its AI-driven 911 emergency response platform, expand into new mission-critical industries, and continue its international growth while upholding the highest standards of cybersecurity and compliance. Participants in the financing include AT&T Ventures, Axon Enterprise, which is the police company. If you guys, we've talked about some Axon body cams and stuff in the past, but Axon's big on getting AI programs into the police. We got Cox Enterprises, Global Medical Response, Hanaco Growth, Hercules Capital, RCM Private Markets Fund, which is managed by Rokos Capital Management, Silicon Valley Bank, and a division of First Citizens Bank. Carbine consulted with Goldman Sachs throughout the process. Shocking, right? Not really. It shouldn't be, at least. If we just jump down here, though, we can see nearly 300 sites worldwide across 23 U.S. states and 6 countries with 7,000 plus call takers using Carbine globally. And that is increasing. It is getting bigger. And I'll tell you what, the more events that we start seeing, like that shooter that just took place, and we start seeing calls from the First Lady about preemptive stuff, I'm telling you, this Carbine system is going to start growing. It's going to get bigger, and it's going to start growing, and it's going to start plugging into more and more 911 emergency response systems out there. And so that's what we got going on there. Now, we've talked about that before. We've kind of went over that situation before. Who is all involved with this thing? Because that's where it starts getting shady, is who are the ones involved with this. Some names you're probably going to recognize. And so, first thing that we want to jump off on this, let's just start with some big ones, shall we? Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, that Epstein and Ehud Barak were business partners for 17 years, and both invested in the startup of Carbine. Yes, you heard that correct. Both invested in the startup to Carbine. Jeffrey Epstein was Ehud Barak's business partner as late as 2015. The former prime minister, connection to a financier accused of sex trafficking minors, became an issue ahead of the national elections of September. This was written in 2019. American financier Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted sex offender now embroiled in sex trafficking cases involving minors, was an active business partner of former Prime Minister Ehud Barak as late as 2015. Again, it goes all the way back to 2017. Barak formed a limited partnership company in Israel in 2015 called Sum to invest in high-tech startup, then called Reporty, now named Carbine. And we can see it right here. This was Reporty Homeland Security. This was basically the very beginning of this authorization. And you can see Amir Elachai, who is a founder, Alex Dizengoff, who's another co-founder of Carbine, and there's Ehud Barak as well. And so, yes, this goes back, that was 2016 that was indeed signed, and which developed video streaming and geolocation software for emergency services. That's what we're looking at. Large part of the money used by some to buy Reporty stock was supplied by Epstein himself. The report appears to raise new questions about the connection between Barak and disgraced Epstein, a relationship that became a favorite election talking point, of course, for Netanyahu after Barak re-entered the political fray last month. Again, this was 2019. This was released, announcing a new party formed to purpose the unseating of Netanyahu. And he never denied it. Barak, too, responded to the report and Netanyahu's post confirming the 2015 partnership with Epstein and comparing the convicted sex offender to Bibi. You don't have to investigate. I confess. He basically said, yes, I was a business partner with them because they did a lot of stuff together. Keep in mind, before being prime minister, Barak was big when it comes to the intelligence services, the Israeli intelligence. And Epstein was also connected to Ehud at that time as well. If you guys don't know, and you guys haven't looked, but I've mentioned it before, Epstein was both an intelligence agency for both Israel and the United States. He was part of the Mossad and a part of the CIA. He was working with both of them because he was one of their main guys involved with all this. So why wouldn't he be involved with something like Carbine that is not only developed off of Israeli intelligence, but also plugged into the United States 911 emergency services in order to collect data, because that's what he was a part of. And so this is absolutely something that we should not be shocked by. So we understand as of now that both Ehud Barak and Jeffrey Epstein were a part of the buildup of Reporty, now Carbine. It's not the only one, though. Founders Fund invests in 911 startup backed by Ehud Barak. If you guys don't know who Founders Fund is, Peter Thiel's venture capital was also involved with the funding of Carbine as well. Founders Fund invests in a 911 startup backed by Ehud Barak. This was back in 2018. Peter Thiel's venture capital firm Founders Fund has joined a $15 million Series B funding round in an emergency response startup, Carbine, backed by former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. The company announced the round led Elsted Capital Partners Tuesday. Listed as Reporty Homeland Security, which we showed the document already, Carbine develops a technology designed to enhance first response services, reducing the time it takes first responders to assess, prioritize, and act in a crisis situation. Carbine's digitized 911 system helps first responders best process incoming emergency calls using information sources including live video streaming, voice over IP, and location detection. The company reports a 65% reduction time to dispatch. You can see they're all happy together. Carbine was founded in 2014 and is based in Tel Aviv with the additional office in New York. They also have an office in London as well. So for all you across the pond, they are there as well. The company reports clients in the US, Latin America, Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. In 2016, Carbine raised $5.15 million in an angel funding round led by Barak, who serves as Carbine's chairman of the board. This is the first investment in Israel for San Francisco-based Founders Fund. In April, Peter Thiel backed Israel-based artificial intelligence group Epistema Limited through another of his venture capital firms, Mithril Capital Management. Epistema eventually developed a structured debate platform developed by automated data checks and artificial intelligence. The company targets the financial markets, technology companies, and government agencies. Barak is the co-founder of Tel Aviv-based cybersecurity Toka, recently backed by Andreessen Horowitz. and Dell. If you guys don't know Andreessen Horowitz, that's Mark Andreessen and something Horowitz. I can't remember his first name. Both of those guys were the main guys during the 2024 Trump campaign who were getting all of the Silicon Valley bros connected to Trump at that time. And Andreessen Horowitz are the same people who were in bed with Ehud Barak for the Tel Aviv-based cybersecurity company Toka. It's all one big happy family. I really hope that we're starting to understand that. I really hope we're starting to get that. So recently backed by Andreessen Horowitz LLC and Dell EMC through its venture capital arm Dell Technologies Capital, listed as CyberToka Limited, founded in 2018. The company aims to provide services to government, law enforcement, security agencies. It's all one big happy family. They're all working together. Absolutely all working together. Then we have this. This just came out in August. Leaked emails only confirms what we already know. Leaked emails revealed Jeffrey Epstein's connection to the surveillance industry. Again, he was an agent for both the Mossad and the CIA. Should not shock us. After his first arrest for sex crimes, Jeffrey Epstein tried to get into a new line of work, surveillance. It was not new. This was not new. Again, he's been working with this for a long time. In 2015, he partnered with former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak to invest in a security tech startup called Reporty Homeland Security, now known as Carbine. Leaked emails show that Epstein was using Barak to seek out opportunities in the surveillance industry and build connections with powerful figures around the globe, including American businessman Peter Thiel, the former director of Israeli signals intelligence, and two people in Russian President Vladimir Putin's circle. Oh, we'll get to them in just a second. We'll get to them in just a second as well. But it gets deeper now. So we've got sex trafficking. We've got Israelis intelligence. We got United States emergency response and Palantir dude who's all basically got the entire government in his system now. And now we've got connections to the Russian group as well. Don't worry, China comes up just a little bit later as well, if you guys don't think that that's not a party in itself. After he was first caught dealing with exploitation of underage people, gotta be careful, Epstein had pleaded guilty soliciting prostitution in 2008. He served a little over a year in detention. Meanwhile, he invested his wealth in bizarre projects, including a ranch to breed women. And with his DNA, if you guys want to dig into that, it's a sick and twisted story. We're not going to get into it. And then leaked emails show that Epstein was also interested in more mundane means of spying on and manipulating people, which overlapped with the technologies governments often pursued. His interest crossed borders, of course. Now, keep in mind, because we got all this stuff going on as well. If you guys know, he served a little over a year in detention. Basically, he was nailed. I mean, the dude was nailed. Had everything on him, but they made a comfy deal. Specifically, one dude made a comfy deal where he would serve 13 months in prison, but he was able to leave 6 days of the week for 12 hours at a time for work reasons. So even though he was nailed, everything against him, they could not let him go. They couldn't let him get taken down because he's one of their guys. He's part of the group. He's part of the intelligence thing. So they struck a deal for 13 months and then 13 months in prison, and then but you get 6 days of the week outside of your cell and 12 for up to 12 hours a day. And it's all because of this dude. And so this just came out this year. This was August of this year. This came out. This was the dude that made the deal, Alex Acosta. You guys remember his name? Congress doesn't want to talk to Alex Acosta, Epstein's sweetheart deal maker. He's the one that did it. But Acosta, who previously was Trump's labor secretary. That's right. After he made the deal with Epstein, he also was hand-selected by Trump to be a part of the labor secretary, but because there was so much pressure regarding the situation, Acosta stepped down from that position. That looks rather guilty to me, if you want to look at it that way. Now, we know that there's a whole bunch of stuff going on regarding the Epstein situation. I don't talk about it because I think it's just a giant distraction right now. But I do want to make mention of something if you guys haven't been paying attention. Last week, or actually the past several weeks, I should say, Trump has basically been coming out saying that the entire Epstein thing was a hoax created by the Democrats to bring him down. Then just yesterday, which was the 5th, September 5th, just yesterday, Mike Johnson came out and said that Trump was actually an FBI informant placed within Epstein's camp in order to bring him down. What? That doesn't even make any sense. I mean, that's as bad as writing as Hollywood has right now for their movies. That is the stupidest thing. So what is it? Is it a hoax created by the Democrats, or are you an FBI plant? Which one is it? They're just making stuff up and throwing it out there right now. And they do that because it keeps everybody's wheels spinning. Everybody's focused on the Epstein stuff. When we know, even though there's people out there that deny it, we know that Epstein was doing what he was doing with many people involved, including Trump himself. But they got to keep the wheels spinning and everybody focused on that because they're doing all their other stuff. But what we have now so far is this carbine system, which is built to plug into the 911 emergency response system in order to gather as much data on people as possible, gather all this data and collect it, is built from Israeli intelligence dudes, funded by an ex-prime minister, a sex trafficking agent of both the CIA and the Mossad, as well as Peter Thiel, who is all connected to Palantir, who has the centralized database, basically owns the United States government at this point now. We following along? I want to make sure I'm not losing you guys. That's where we're at so far. We're not done yet. It keeps going. I kind of built this so we can kind of go through some of this stuff so we can keep it in the forefront of our mind. So this is the carbine tree so far that we have. I just picked out the important ones. There's other people involved. We're not really going to get involved with them. There's a couple other ones I'll point out, but these are the important ones. So carbine, founders of this thing. You got Amir Elikai, which we've seen his John Hancock on the paper with the hood, and Alex listed just below him. He's one of the co-founders of it. He's a former Israeli intelligence. I believe he was connected to the elite 8200 group, and so he's involved with that. He's still a reservist for the IDF today. Alex Dizengoff, who was an agent of the Israeli Prime Minister's cybersecurity cabinet. He's the one that works directly in the Prime Minister's office to keep the cybersecurity up for all systems involving the Prime Minister. He was also a co-founder as well. Then you have Lital Lashem, who that was I can't pull it up because I already clicked off of it to keep myself on track here. But that was the female in the picture that had the three with a hood at that point. Lital Lashem is an IDF or ex-IDF captain connected to Black Cube Intelligence, which is another private Israeli intelligence group, which I'll show something about that in just a second. And she's an Eric Prince associate. You guys remember Eric Prince? I just did a thing a couple months ago regarding the wellness company involving Eric Prince and Blackwater and all that situation. Go check that out if you haven't. If you don't know who Eric Prince is, I show you the absolute criminal and slime ball that dude is. Well, she's connected to Eric Prince. She's an investor in some of his other companies, one of which, the Frontier Group, went and sold the Carbine data collection system platform, not the actual company sales itself, but the foundational software coding for it, sold it to the Chinese government so they can locate and track the Uyghurs so they can go and collect them on the streets of China. They used this program, this coding for that. The same coding that's getting plugged into our 911 emergency response systems right now. You guys think it's a good idea to have that? I don't. And so she's one of the co-founders. You won't find her name listed on the website as a co-founder, but she was absolutely one of the co-founders of Reporty, now Carbine. And we see what they did with that code, sending it to China to do just that. What's Black Cube Intelligence? That's the next thing I got? Nope, not yet. We'll get to Black Cube Intelligence in just a second. I got to make sure I got everything in order. We'll get to that in just a second. The investors. So who are the investors? We got Ehud Barak, former Israeli prime minister. We talked about him. Jeffrey Epstein, who's the trafficker and intelligence agency for both the United States and Israel. Talked about him. Peter Thiel, Palantir. Talked about him. Who are these two guys here? We got Victor Vekselberg and Andrew Intrater, however you want to pronounce that. Victor Vekselberg is a Russian oligarch. He is one of the richest men of Russia. He's also one who invests in the Russian intelligence agencies. He invests into those groups in order to advance their ability in order to collect intelligence. And he's also a very, very close friend to Vladimir Putin and the Russian political office itself. So let's just find out a little bit of Victor, shall we? This was 2023 that this came out. Justice Department is seizing $75 million in real estate tied to Russian oligarch. Federal agents had searched properties connected to Victor Vekselberg last September. It says the Justice Department Operation Klepto Capture is seeking to seize luxury real estate in Miami, the Hamptons, the New York City, worth roughly $75 million belonging to Russian oligarch Victor Vekselberg. Court documents show. NBC News was the first to report the raid of Vekselberg's property in September last year. Those searches by the Justice Department and Homeland Security investigations in part led to Friday's seizures. It says prosecutors allege that Vekselberg's business associate, Vladimir Voronchenko, a fugitive who was indicted this month, violated sanctions and was involved in international money laundering. After Vekselberg was sanctioned in 2018, Voronchenko tried to sell properties in Park Avenue in Southampton without obtaining proper U.S. approval in violation of sanction laws, prosecutors said. We'll go a little bit further on that in just a second, but Victor is also in partnership with Andrew Intrater, who is connected to Vekselberg, and he hired Michael Cohen, who is Trump's lawyer. You guys remember Michael Cohen, who is charged with being a criminal and all that type of stuff. He was involved with the Stormy Daniels situation and everything. Yeah, so those two are in bed together with other companies and whatnot. It says, where's that? Yeah, so Vekselberg is well known in U.S. law enforcement and the Washington political circles. The U.S. official with expertise in oligarchs said Vekselberg had an established model for seeking influence, identify areas of potential investment, provide funds to his proxy, and then let those proxies find avenues to move money to get deals done, which would mean contributions or payments to individuals as needed. So basically, it is money laundering to the T. A company controlled by Vekselberg, the one that is connected to Michael Intrater that we just mentioned, controlled by Vekselberg, made $500,000 in payments to former Trump attorney and convicted felon Michael Cohen. Stormy Daniels' attorney, Michael Avenatti, said in 2018. Avenatti said that the payments came from a U.S.-based company called Columbus Nova, which is where the investment money for Carbine came from, which is connected to Vekselberg, Michael Cohen, and Michael Intrater, which he said was controlled by Vekselberg and Vekselberg's cousin, Andrew Intrater. Payments allegedly went to Cohen's company, Essential Consultants, which was the same company that Cohen used to wire Daniels $130,000 to stop her from going public with her account of alleged sexual affair with President Donald Trump over a decade ago. And it goes on to say that Cohen was hired as a lawyer consultant for the Nova Group while he was connected to Trump at the same time, and all this stuff was going down at the same time. keeps going. It just keeps going. If that's not enough, Michael Cohen filings show 950 messages with oligarch's cousin. Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, exchanged more than 230 phone calls and 950 text messages over 8 months with chief executive of the U.S. money management firm with ties to Russian oligarch, according to newly unsealed court documents. The communications between Cohen and Andrew Intrater, the chief executive office of Columbus Nova LLC, began on the day that Donald Trump's election, according to the U.S. search and seizure warrant filed in Washington on August 7th, 2017, and unsealed on Wednesday. These aren't just coincidences, everybody. I know a lot of people like to say, oh no, it's just coincidence. That's a garbage truck on a freight train connected to a ship barge of coincidence all wrapped around this. We know that Trump is connected to Epstein, and we know that Trump's connected to the Russian mob as well. I've talked about that in the past. And we know that he's connected to the Saudi Arabian prince family as well, and the Rothschild family, and all these connections that everybody claims aren't real connections, but yet the connections just keep showing themselves as being true. Oh, he's just a businessman. That's just how it goes. Okay. But the fact is we've got a whole lot of connection between Epstein, the Israeli intelligence group, the Carbine 911 system that's here in the United States, with the Russian group, with China, with all these people, Palantir, are all connected, all centered around the exact same thing. What is that same thing? Building a technocratic surveillance monster to scrape every ounce of information and privacy from your life. And they are all connected. I'm not saying one person's in charge of all this, because I don't think any of these people that we've gone over so far are in charge of building this, but I do believe that they are all being used to build the same thing that somebody is telling them to build. And it just keeps going. It just keeps going further. So, we got that. Back to Lital Lashem, Black Cube Intelligence. What is Black Cube Intelligence? Harvey Weinstein, another fill in the blank. Harvey Weinstein says he hired Israeli firm Black Cube for days like this. Disgraced producer on trial for rape, questioned about use of private investigators to track and silence journalists and accusers. Who are the ones doing that? Israeli intelligence group Black Cube, who just happens to be connected to Lital Lashem, who helped start Carbine. Indeed. We having fun yet, everybody? This is insanity. We're not done. Not done. Let's keep going. I'm going to keep this up just in case I need to go back there. Let's head over to Carbine's website, to their team page. So there's Amir Elishai. There's Alex Dizengoff there. Again, you don't see Lital's name on here, but she absolutely was one of the founders of that. But if we jump down here to the advisory board, just point out a few. We'll get to him in just a second. Trey Stevens, partner at Founders Fund. That's Peter Thiel's fund, right? Let's learn a little bit about Trey Stevens, who's a part of the advisory board for Carbine, shall we? We go over to Founders Fund itself, partner Trey Stevens. Trey is a partner at Founders Fund. He is also co-founder and executive chairman of Anduril. That's Palmer Luckey's group. The military industrial complex, the defense contractor, Anduril, who's all hooked up, involved with Peter Thiel and Palantir, as well as the Trump administration. It's one of Trump's favorite people. A defense technology company focused on autonomous systems, and co-founder of Soul, a next-generation wearable e-reader. Previously, Trey was an early employee at Palantir Technologies, where he led teams focused on the growth of intelligence and defense space, as well as an international expansion, helping large organizations solve their hardest data analyst problems. He also was an integral part of the product team, leading the design and strategy for new product offerings. While at Palantir, Trey also served as the adjunct faculty member at Georgetown University. If that's not enough, again, Enduro Leadership, Trey Stevens, co-founder and executive chairman. SpaceX investor joins Trump defense transition team. This was in 2016. There's Trey again. Principal in a venture capital fund whose investment includes SpaceX joined President-elect Donald Trump's transition team for the Department of Defense. The Office of President-elect Trump announced November 23rd that it was adding Trey Stevens to the existing transition team for the Defense Department. He joins the original group of 9 assigned to the landing team covering the Pentagon in November 18th, and a 10th person added November 21st. Goes over his founder fund, Peter Thiel, Palantir, Enduro, and so on and so forth. But yes, he was part of Trump's transition team in 2016. Deeper and deeper it goes. Deeper and deeper it goes. Just deleted a page that I didn't mean to. Get it back real quick. It's not the one I wanted. There we go. So that's Trey Stevens. Now, what about Mr. Smiley here? Again, a face only a mother could love. Who's this guy? Who is this guy? Secretary Michael Chertoff, former Secretary of Homeland Security to the United States government. What's he doing on the board of Carbine? Well, he's exactly who you think he is. Might be kind of hard to read it, but I'll zoom in, make it a little easier. Michael Chertoff, Carbine Advisory Board. Let's see what he's got going on his resume. So he was Secretary of Homeland Security during the Bush administration, and he was co-author of the Patriot Act. That's right. This dude who sits on the board of Carbine was the co-author of the Patriot Act. He was a 9/11 insider. Yes, I will say it. I don't care if people call me crazy. I will say it. 9/11 was an inside job. And this is one of the dudes that was helping to orchestrate and clean it up after it happened. He was Assistant Attorney General of the Department of Justice Crime Division at that time, and he helped cover up the Middle Eastern intelligence that was involved in making it happen. Who might those people be? That would be the Saudi Arabian government and the Israeli Mossad, who were involved with 9/11. A lot of people are going to get irritated that I just said that. I don't care, because that's where the evidence leads to who are the people who actually got it done. Saudi Arabia, the Mossad, and the CIA all worked together in order to make 9/11 work. It was not the Osama bin Laden, Taliban, whatever they want to feed you garbage. It was those three groups that made it happen. And he was Assistant Attorney General at the Department of Justice Crime Division, and there's been multiple reports that you can go and look up of how he signed off on things that got these groups, these Middle Eastern people, off during that time and sent them back to their country so they could not be persecuted here or prosecuted here. He also went and formed Chertoff Group Consulting, where one of his clients was OSI, who was also connected to the Rapiscan, which is one of the 2 approved TSA full body scanners. This Rapiscan is one of the scanners that the TSA used to it basically gave them a nude scan of your body when you went through. And he, after 9/11, after the Patriot Act, started his own consulting group in order to find or be connected to a client that was the one of two approved body scanners that went through with the TSA after that event happened. Coincidence? You know, I don't believe in coincidence. And yes, he is a Polish Jewish guy who was born into a family where his father was a teacher and rabbi of the Talmud. And it's possible, there's nothing that verifies it, but there's a lot of evidence that says it's possible that his mother was indeed a Mossad agent who helped during the airline flights for some of the things that they did, some of the missions that they went on. So he's got quite a background with the U.S. situation, 9/11, Patriot Act, covering up that situation, getting paid from what he just helped orchestrate, and he has connections to foreign intelligence and religious groups as well. So he's on the advisory board of Carmine as well. The web is huge on this, isn't it? The web is absolutely huge on that, and that's just those guys. Those are some pretty big names. Those are some pretty big connections, and a whole lot of devious stuff happening. Remember, these are the same guys financing that program that is not only being used in China, but is also being plugged into the 911 system right now, which involves AI and data scraping and just pinging your phone whenever they want to in order to get geolocation, video and audio recording, as well as your personal data as well. And it's all being done with the investment of those guys. Now, doesn't stop there. We're going to shift from Carbine, though. We could keep going, but I don't think it's worth it. It's just a whole bunch of extra information that's like, okay, whatever. Can't really do anything with it. I think we've covered enough in regards to that. But I want to shift to something else that is also coming from this shooter situation. Now, there's a guy by the name of Aaron Cohen, who is the host of the Aaron Cohen Show, who's Israeli Spec Ops veteran, Middle Eastern counterterrorism and law enforcement analyst, and a law enforcement officer. And he's been working on something called Gideon. Now, this is something that I first heard about in June, because there was an event that happened in June, another shooting that took place in June, and he came out on Fox talking about his Gideon thing. I just kind of held on to it. Again, there's a lot of information that I find that I just kind of hold on to see what happens. And so I was holding on to this, and then after this shooting, he then got put on Fox to announce the Gideon thing again, the Gideon AI system again, saying that it's going to go live in a week. Well, that week has passed, and he's now saying that it is live. Just if you build something that actually stops school shooters, and then he throws shade, the anti-Semites, the anarchists, and the 1984 cosplay crowd will lose their minds because people are calling out what this thing does. I'm going to go over what this thing does. He says, good, Gideon is live. Let's get to work. I'm going to show you those videos. This one is from the recent shooting that just happened. This was last week. And then I've got a video from his June interview as well. Let's hear what he has to say in regards to all of this. Now, this video, I captured it. The sync is off, so the audio and the video aren't synced up, but it is legit. I got this myself.
Correct. I am now about to launch Gideon, America's first ever AI threat detection platform built specifically for law enforcement. It scrapes the internet 24/7 using an Israeli-grade ontology to pull specific threat language and then routes it to local law enforcement. It's a 24/7 detective. It never sleeps, and it's going to get us in front of these attacks.
Would it have picked up on this, do you think?
100%. I wish my program would already be up. We're not launching until next week. I've got a dozen agencies on board, Trace. I just unloaded a major Northeast agency with over 2,700 sworn. This is America's early warning system.
Scrapes the internet 24/7. never stops gathering data on everybody to determine preemptively if somebody's about to do something. Early warning detection, preemptive, exactly what Melania Trump was calling for. This is the one from June. See what he has to say about this one.
To what Ari said, the problem here is growing exponentially. Let me say this. I have just built, Sean, the first AI-powered threat detection system for law enforcement that scans the open web for radicalization and tactical planning. And if somebody in the Trump administration is listening, partner with me and let's scale this and get local law enforcement the tools they need. My technology will prevent these threats from popping off. You have to get in front of these. The technology's here. The Israeli model meets Palantir quality engineering, and I've got it, and the White House needs to give me a buzz, and let's get this thing scaled nationally, and it's called Gideon.
Wow.
Pretty interesting. Palantir quality based on Israeli system ontology, 24/7 scraping the internet of all your data, early detection morning, preemptive pre-crime system. And he wants to get it plugged in. This is twice after 2 shootings that he's been coming out there talking about this system. What is the Gideon pre-crime system? Broke it down as simple as I could. The Gideon pre-crime AI surveillance system. What is the summary of this system? It's based on Israeli counterterrorism practice. The systems that the Israeli intelligence, IDF, and Mossad use. Again, he was a part of the Israeli special forces. He took that same system and applied it to this. But this is built for the American tech ecosystem. So it's built to plug into our systems here. Things like Palantir could plug into Carbine, maybe, don't know. Could, though. And so on and so forth. It is a 24/7 internet watch based upon language and patterns. It watches certain language that's used, certain patterns, certain subjects and topics that are used, and it determines if it's just a one-off thing, nothing to worry about, and determines if it's a regular pattern with some other elements involved with that. It's AI-based, so it does whatever it wants to based on language and patterns. It's built to determine behavioral ontology framework, which is the expression to prediction. Basically, what that does is it learns the behavior of people. It not only catches like red flag words and stuff like that. We already have systems that do that. It learns the expressions of people, the behaviors of people, and will determine if somebody is just going from expression to actually acting upon it. So if somebody's just talking about something, that would just be determined as expression. But it's built to predict if that person is going to actually act upon it, and then it will send a red flag to that person to the local law enforcement, so the local law enforcement can go and arrest. Yes, that's what this is built to do. It's total profiling, and it turns your profile into an actionable lead mapping. What that means is it gathers all this information, builds up your social profile, determines how you express yourself and all the language that you use and so on and so forth. And if it determines that you are going to act upon it, it then takes your profile and it will automatically determine the roadmap for local law enforcement to go and collect you. So if it thinks that you're going to go and do this type of action at this certain place, it will build a order-based mapping system for law enforcement to follow. So you don't need a commander to go in there and try and determine, okay, this person's going to do this because they were talking about this. They may go this way, they may go that way. No, the AI is automatically going to build that, and law enforcement will just follow the map that is built by the AI. It erases the innocent until proven guilty system that we have, which doesn't really work anyways now. but it erases that entirely, and it bases it upon a probable cause collection. Because it has been scraping all of this data, it'll automatically put together a case, which would then determine probable cause, which means the innocent until proven guilty goes out the window. Does this sound dystopian? Because that's exactly what this is. The algorithm then produces a no-biased target lock on whoever it is. So in this case, he says that it would stop the trans shooter. If it was people that was determining it, you would have a bias of, well, they're trans, they're going to do it, or you would have people that say, well, they're trans, so we need to be extra careful and not do anything about it. It gets rid of all of that, and it just determines it based off of algorithm. This is also commits societal conditioning of thought policing and behavioral manipulation. This then determines if you just have thoughts of certain things, even though you have no plans of acting on them, you are now being policed for the thoughts that you're having, as well as behavioral manipulation, basically saying everybody's going to be walking on eggshells all the time because they don't know if the AI is going to determine if they're going to do something or not, and they don't want to get arrested, so they don't want to do anything that might go against the rules that the AI has been set up for. This then manipulates society, manipulates individual behavior, and then you have a society that's now conforming to an AI system, and they're going to be dependent and good little boys and girls based upon that. If you guys remember last year, Larry Ellison, the dude from Oracle, said that technology can be used to keep everybody on their best behavior. That's what Gideon is based off of as well. This can also be an incentive-based over-detection, basically saying there could be financial incentives handed out to individuals and companies based on over-detection by basically sending out things that don't need to be sent out, but yet they'll do it anyways, and people can make money based off of that. Then there's also the possibilities. There's no confirmation that it can or will, but there's possibilities that the system could plug into the Palantir centralized citizen database, which Trump ordered Peter Thiel and Palantir to start building. This thing could get plugged into that, so all of that data could get plugged into this as well. Possibility to plug into the Flock camera system, which we've been talking about Flock as well. That may be an option. Possibility to plug into the Carbine 911 AI dispatch system as well. Those are all possibilities. Again, I can't confirm that they can or will be, but that is possible. This also enables a threat score, which in conjunction can be applied to a social credit score as well. It could be giving scores dependent upon the language and the patterns that you have and your behavior that it's collecting. It can determine your threat score and apply it to a social credit score. And I put this in here. This is my own thing. Requirement: high profile mass shooting or a homegrown terrorism event. I think if you want to get this thing plugged in nationwide, you're going to need something extravagant in order to make this make society be on board with it. Now, that doesn't mean it's a requirement in order to plug it in, but it might be a requirement in order to get the nation to go along with it. And so I put that in there. What does it scan? What does it collect? The Gideon pre-crime AI surveillance system does continuous scanning of websites. This is information that you're putting out. Keep in mind. Blog posts, public forums, Reddit threads, message boards, comment sections. It will scan and collect all of that information, and it will plug it into your data, and so on and so forth. It'll collect it and put it in your profile. It scans and collects your social media and messaging stuff like Discord servers, Telegram channels, X, Facebook, Instagram, all your social media platforms, TikTok comments, and YouTube posts. It'll take all that information as well. It plugs into the gaming sector of things as well. In-game chats, team servers, modding platforms, gaming forums, TeamSpeak chats. It'll go into all that and collect the logs and the data of each individual person, what they're saying, and apply it as there. That's going to be difficult because of a lot of the games are military based and they're all talking in that type of language. So how is that going to determine it? Who knows? And then the pattern recognitions that it collects and follows and bases all of this algorithm off. It'll determine the expression of grief, martyrdom language, hate speech, racism, sexism, radical ideology, whatever they want to classify that as, weapons prep or tactical prep, tactics info gathering, target references, threatening messaging, suicidal speech, final post language, like your last will, last post type of thing, suspicious language, violent outbursts, if you show a lot of aggression or violent outbursts in your stuff, and mental illness. It scans and collects all of that information and bases it upon your expression pattern recognition that it has within its algorithm, and it will predetermine if you plan on doing some type of violent crime or violent action. According to its algorithm, send it to the local law enforcement so they can go and pick you up based upon their collection of probable cause. This is straight up pre-crime stuff that you find in movies and books and so on and so forth. And this dude, Aaron Cohen, wants to plug this in. And he's been on the news twice, immediately following shooting events. Think about that. Immediately following two shooting events, him, who is he? All of a sudden gets airtime to talk about this Gideon AI program. It's almost like they're conditioning us. Get ready, because this is coming. It's very interesting what we have going on there. So there's the Gideon. So we've talked about Carbine. We've talked about Gideon. Well, ICE just managed to, what's the word? Reactivate a contract that was paused during the Biden administration, and they just reactivated it now. I don't. It's fascinating. Again, this is just the stuff that's popping up that's being used. It's all Israeli. That's just what it is. I know that'll make a lot of people angry and stuff. Oh, you're just so anti-Semitic now. No, it's just what's being used. This is the fact of what's being applied and what's being used now. It's all Israeli based. I can't help it. I can't change the reports. It's just what's going on. And this just got reactivated. Now, Graphite, the Israeli spyware acquired by ICE. Paragon, which is the company that built Graphite. Paragon's technology is one of the most powerful commercial espionage tools available and can covertly activate microphones to turn smartphones into listening devices. Graphite can turn phones, activate microphones, and turn smartphones into listening devices. And ICE is now just reactivating that contract. This comes out September 5th. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency has reactivated a $2 million contract with Paragon Solutions, an Israeli-founded spyware company whose product can hack any cell phone. The agreement includes a fully configured software package, including licensing, hardware, training, and ongoing maintenance. The original contract with Paragon was signed in September 2024 during the Biden administration, but was put on hold after the reports emerged that the technology known as Graphite had been misused abroad. Biden's March 2023 executive order explicitly restricted U.S. agencies from employing software vendors whose tools posed significant counterintelligence and security risks or had been misused by foreign governments to suppress dissent. For months, the deal remained under review, almost like they used Biden to get it in place and then pause it because it wasn't ready to deploy it yet. Remember, you got to think in that terms because we've seen that done a lot in history. The biggest one was the CARES Act, which was introduced a year before the 2020 event because it was drawn up when they were doing the Crimson Contagion event, which was also Trump's administration, it was the precursor for Event 201, which eventually led to 2020. But we know that the CARES Act was created in 2019 and just sat in Congress for a year because it wasn't time yet. It was prepared. It was ready. And then when 2020 came along, it went through without a hitch because they already drew it up because of the Crimson Contagion event. This stuff happens all the time. Remember, Doesn't matter if it's right or left, Republican, Democrat, red, blue, Trump, Biden, doesn't matter. They're all working for the same puppeteers. They're just getting stuff prepped for whatever comes next. So we got to remember that. So for months, the deal remained under review. However, Florida-based private equity firm AE Industrial Partners acquired Paragon and merged it with Virginia-based intelligence contractor Red Lattice, paving the way for its reinstatement. Paragon is now considered a domestic partner rather than a foreign vendor, as it not only has U.S. ownership, but also deep ties to former CIA officials and military personnel, according to multiple reports. There's a couple other people connected that I'll show you in just a second. What can graphite do? Graphite is one of the most powerful commercial spy tools available. Once installed, it can take complete control of the target's phone and extract text messages, emails, photos, infiltrate encrypted apps like Signal and WhatsApp and Telegram, access cloud backups, and covertly activate microphones to turn smartphones into listening devices. Although companies like Paragon insist their tools are intended to combat terrorism and organized crime, past use suggests otherwise. Earlier this year, graphite was linked to a surveillance campaign in Italy targeting at least 90 journalists, migrant rights activists, and even associates of Pope Francis. Paragon severed ties with Italy following public outrage, but the incident heightened skepticism about graphite's potential misuse. WhatsApp, owned by Meta, revealed in early 2025 that it had thwarted a hacking campaign that used Paragon's tools. The company also sent Paragon a cease and desist letter following a legal battle it previously won against its rival, Israeli spyware provider NSO Group, the creator of Pegasus, which is another one that works similar to this, not as powerful, but it works similar. Program used in multiple countries to spy on journalists and activists. It's spyware. It's not something that you download or put on your phone. It's something that they inject into your phone without you even knowing, and it'll do all of that. We could have it on our phones right now and not even know it. I kid you not. That's not to freak you out. That's just how it works. This could be on any one of our phones right now. Any one of our phones right now. Let's learn a little bit more about this, though, shall we? Spyware startup Paragon acquired for up to $9 million. This was in 2024. Paragon acquired for up to $900 million by investment from AE. Paragon's flagship product, Graphite, is a software solution capable of penetrating all popular communication applications, including WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, which are widely considered secure and encrypted. An impressive exit in offensive cyber, Paragon, a company that competes directly with NSO, which is the Pegasus Group, has been sold to an American private investment firm, AE Industrial Partners, for $500 million. Depending on the achievement of growth and profitability milestones, the deal's total value could eventually reach $900 million. Okay. Who is Paragon? Paragon was established in 2019 by a group of former members of Unit 8200. Not the same people, but the same group, or the people from the same group that did Carbine as well. And is led by Ehud Schneerson, a former commander of the unit, who now serves as Paragon's executive chairman. Another prominent shareholder in the company is former Prime Minister and IDF Chief of Staff Ehud Barak. Same dude who got Reporty and Carbine going is also the same dude who financed this as well. Fascinating, isn't it? It's fascinating. All the same people. All after the same goal. All connected. They're all connected. And they're all heading for the same outcome. All heading for the same outcome. But I can tell you, I can't show you an article, I can't show you a document, I can't show you a memorandum or anything like that. But I can confidently tell you that ICE, their main goal of activating this graphite situation, this system, has nothing to do with immigrants or illegals and will absolutely be used against us. American citizens, in order to keep tabs on all of us. And I'm confident in that. Because all of this stuff is not for what they say it is. It's not for the immigrants or the illegals to make us safer or anything. No, this stuff is being built to use against us. They use the immigrants and the illegals to give them the avenue to apply this stuff, to activate this stuff, to install these things. That's their excuse for it. But it's not to be used against them, be used against us. That's exactly why they're doing this. And then we just got this too. Speaking of Flock, AI startup Flock thinks it can eliminate all crime in America. With more than 80,000 AI-powered cameras across the United States, Flock Safety has become one of the cops' go-to surveillance tools and a $7.5 billion business. Now, the CEO, Garrett Langley, has both policed tech giant Axon, the ones who just struck a deal with Carbine, and Chinese drone maker DJI, who's also using a Carbine system. Not the Carbine system, but we went over the details regarding Litum and Eric Prince and what they just did. But Chinese drone maker, so Flock is with Chinese drone maker DJI in his sights on a way to his noble goal, preventing all crime in the U.S. Does that sound like preemptive? Does that sound like pre-crime? The same thing that Melania Trump is talking about? It's the same systems. It's the same goal. It's the same idea. We just have these, out of all the companies, we're starting to see the ones that are building it come forward. We're starting to see them. We're starting to see Palantir. Well, we've been seeing them, but we're seeing Palantir. We're seeing Flock. We're seeing these ICE programs like Graphite that are starting to come through. We're seeing Carbine. We could start seeing Gideon. We don't know, but we could start seeing that coming through. But we're starting to see these companies who it's all the same people financing and directing them. And something tells me they can all plug in together and all run in harmony together because they're all AI based. They all are doing basically the same thing, but in different ways. And so they can all kind of work with each other. Now, I'm not a software person. I don't know. You can't just say, work with this and it works, you know, but something tells me that these can be developed to all work together. And this is telling us something big. And to end this all off, because I figured this would be fitting for what we've been talking about, they just had a big dinner at the White House. It says, meet all 33 Silicon Valley power players at Trump's high-profile tech dinner. Here's Elon Musk's explanation for why he wasn't there. This was yesterday. It says, Trump hosted 33 Silicon Valley leaders, including Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, and Bill Gates at the White House dinner Thursday. Attendees announced billions in the U.S. investments, while Musk was notably absent, and so on and so forth. We don't care about that drama stuff. But yeah, the gathering marks Silicon Valley's strategic realignment with Trump's administration on AI and technology policies. He told us that was the plan before, that was during his campaign, and here it comes. Let's see here. There was something that I wanted to point out. Where is it? Where's it at? Oh, here it is. It says the dinner underscored Silicon Valley's strategic realignment with the Trump administration as companies seek favorable regulatory treatment and government contracts while positioning themselves for the AI boom. Several attendees announced significant U.S. investment commitments. Trump asked Zuckerberg directly, for instance, how much he was planning on committing to the United States, and the Facebook founder responded with $600 billion through 2028. There's a video out there of a hot mic that shows after Zuckerberg said that, You can hear Zuckerberg lean over to Trump and say, "I didn't know what number you wanted me to say," which says the whole thing was scripted. The whole thing was scripted. It's a theater. It's theatrics. It's scripted. They're not enemies. They're friends playing out their parts. And you can hear that. So who all was there? You got Trump, Melania Trump, Susie Wiles, of course, we've talked about her. Sergey Brin, who's the Google co-founder, Brin's girlfriend was there. Sam Altman, of course, is there. Greg Brockman, who's the co-founder and president of OpenAI, and that's his wife. Safra Catz, 63-year-old CEO of Oracle, was there as well. Her husband was there. Jason Chang, who's the CEO of CS Bio, was there. Meredith O'Rourke, who's Trump National Finance Director, Senior Advisor for his 2024 campaign. Then we got Nathalie, however you pronounce that, Dompe, co-CEO of an Italian biopharmaceutical company. Tony Fabrizio, nation's leading Republican strategist. Dylan Fields, who is a co-founder and CEO of Figma, a design platform. Also part of the Teal Fellowship, by the way. Then there's John Herring, co-founder and executive chairman of cybersecurity company Lookout, part of Vi Capital. Jared Isaacman, billionaire entrepreneur, commercial astronaut, founder and chairman of payment processor Shift4 Payments. Sunny Madra, who is an officer and president of AI chip company Grok. Different Grok from Musk's AI, I guess. Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. Chamath, not even going to try and pronounce that last name. Founder, CEO of Social Capital and co-host of popular All In podcast. Sundar Pichai, CEO of Alphabet and Google. Mark Pincus, founder of Zynga. Vivek Rana Devi, Indian American entrepreneur who was chairman and CEO of the Sacramento Kings NBA team and co-founder of Tibco Software. David Sachs, White House AI crypto czar, of course. Shyam Sankar, who's the CTO and EVP of Palantir Technologies, who was just sworn in to that new Silicon Valley general group of the United States military. They're already generals. They just swore in. He was one of them who just did that as well. Jamie Siminoff, who's founder of Ring, the doorbell company, connected to Amazon. Lisa Su, CEO of Advanced Micro Devices, AMD. That's computer chips. Alexander Wang, who's CEO of Scale AI and newly appointed Chief AI Officer at Meta. Sanjay Mehrotra, I don't know, President and CEO of Micron Technology, semiconductor company. Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. David Limp, CEO of Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos' space company. Zuckerberg, of course, and Bill Gates, of course. You're going to tell me that all of this stuff, all of these people, all of the events and all of these meetings that are all happening right now at the same time are not connected in some type of way to build this technocratic monster? I think it's absolutely all there. They're all getting ready. They're all connected. They're all moving forward on this. Politics aside, if you're somebody who still makes an excuse and says that Trump doesn't know any better and he just has bad people in his administration, you are admitting that either Trump is that stupid that he can't figure it out, or he's part of it. Simple as that. I just want to throw that out there. I want to make sure that that's known. If you are still covering for Trump and all of this, then you believe that he is either A, the stupidest president who has ever set foot into the White House, or he's a part of it. Simple as that. Or you could be somebody who sees the evidence and understands the direction that we're moving forward and goes, he's somebody who's puppeteering people because he's being puppeteered himself, which is absolutely the case of what we have going on right now. And if you're somebody who still talks about the news, who declares themselves to be a watchman, and you have a podcast or show out there and you are covering this up, you're not talking about this, or you're making excuses for it, you are doing a terrible job at what you claim to be a watchman, because you are not doing at all what you should be doing. Because what we have going on right now is the development of a technocratic monster that is using the guise of politics to get people to follow along with it just because of the cult of personality that is being done. And what is being done right now is we are seeing this monster being constructed in front of our very eyes, a pre-crime AI surveillance monster that is developed off the backbones of Israeli intelligence and Silicon Valley financing, with a lot of players involved, including human trafficking, who both the CIA and the Mossad are caught up with. If that's angers you in any type of way, that's the facts. Deal with it or move along, because they are the heads of this trafficking situation that we have going on. And all the players involved are all connected in this thing. They're all intertwined. It's a kraken. It's a giant kraken with tentacles that are all intertwined. They're all working together to build this thing, to make this thing happen. And as we continue to see things move forward, as we continue to see the development events happening, I'm not going to make predictions or speculation, but something tells me that there is a homegrown terrorist event planned or in the works that will happen sometime. And again, that's not a prediction. That's just something that I can see happening in order to go, you know what? We need to make this happen. And to flip the switch, to turn it on, to make this pre-crime thing happen. Because it's going to take a little bit more to push this system to go. And it's getting there. It's getting there. And we can see the players involved. We can see the direction that they're moving. We don't know exactly how or when it's going to get there. It's not worth predicting or speculating that. But it's good to be aware and not kid ourselves. Don't lie to ourselves about who's all involved. Why is it so key? Why do I keep bringing up Trump? Why? I don't hate the guy. I don't. But when you block off, you give an excuse to somebody who's clearly involved with setting this up, you are restricting an entire avenue of information gathering from yourself. You are blinding yourself to the information that we are being given and the evidence that's being shown. And you are basically tying an arm and a leg behind your back, making it because, well, I'm a watchman and I see what's going on, but I know he's not involved with anything. So anything that comes out about that, I'm going to ignore, and I'm just going to focus on this stuff. And you are now blinding yourself to a whole load of information, what's going on. It's the same aspect of realizing that there are bad people involved with the Israeli government as well, who are clearly involved with all this. That is evidence. That is facts. You can't deny that. If you're choosing to deny that, then you are actively choosing ignorance in order to defend a belief of yours. But if you cut off all of that information as well, you are still blinding yourself to what is coming, what is happening, and what is being done in front of our very eyes. I don't know about you guys, but me personally, and I believe the Bible supports this as well, we should not actively choose to blind ourselves because of some personal bias that we have, whether it's political, whether it's geopolitical, whether it's whatever it is. We need to make sure that we are actively seeking the truth no matter what. So we are not blind. That doesn't mean we're going to have every answer. That doesn't mean that we're going to know what's going to happen next. That doesn't mean any of that. But at least we're not going to be, and the Bible uses this terminology, we're not going to be caught off guard. for the times that we are seeing unfold in front of our very eyes right now. That's why it's so key. That's why we need to make sure that we're not tying an arm behind our back. We're not gouging out an eye. We're not choosing to be ignorant. Because if we are, then we lose the ability to see all of this. Many people who claim to be watchmen will write off everything that we just went over simply because Trump's name and Israel's name was involved. But we can't deny what we're seeing right now. This is happening, whether you like it or not. We need to make sure that we don't restrict ourselves. Times are hard. It doesn't just mean in the physical and the material stuff, but that means in the information side of things, times are going to be hard as well. It's going to be hard to hear some of this stuff. There's still not nearly as much as it was before, but every once in a while, there's still some information that comes out that I kind of sit there and go, man, that's lame. So I was disappointed to hear it. I mean, it happened. It's a rare event now. I'm so callous to this stuff. Some people think that's a bad thing. I personally think it's a good thing. To a certain extent, you don't want to be fully calloused, but having some callous to this information. But there's still every once in a while something comes along. It's like, man, really? It's hard to hear. But I'll tell you what, the further that you go and the more information that you get that is hard to hear, it gets easier with time. Because I think what happens is as we progress and we get more callous to the news of what's happening in our world today, the more we strengthen our grip upon the truth that is within the scripture, that is within the Bible and the passages that's in there. Because we start letting go of the world. We start gripping tighter. I always look at it, gripping tighter onto the thread of the robe of Jesus Christ. We grip tighter onto his word. We grip tighter on him as we release our grip from the world. I think that's exactly what Christ wants. I do. I believe that. He also wants, if you're one of those people that's out there seeking the truth and trying to find really what's going on and whatnot, but you don't have Christ himself, then he wants you to find him in your search for answers, because he is the answer to all of this. And his gospel is as simple as ABC. A, he admits that you're a sinner. You admit that you're a sinner. Don't get that wrong. You admit that you're a sinner. It's the act of repentance, the changing of mind, turning from self to Christ. Realizing, I can't do this. There's not a thing that I can do. And it is through Christ Jesus alone that I find salvation, that I find eternal life. So you repent, which allows true belief in Jesus Christ. You believe that Jesus Christ is the one and only begotten Son of God, that he came down 100% man, 100% God, the God-man, the one and only. He lived the perfect sinless life, the one and only to do so, which means he was the only one qualified to carry the sins of the world upon his shoulders. He carried those to the cross, where he took our place upon the cross, and he was crucified and died in our place. But because there's power in the blood of Jesus Christ, and he did exactly as he said, exactly as he promised, and exactly as he prophesied, he defeated death and rose again on the third day. For all who believe in him shall not perish, but live forever in his presence and in his glory. The glory is his. The finished work upon the cross is his. Tetelestai, it is finished. It is done. Complete. There's nothing that can be added. There's nothing that can be removed. It is done. So the glory is his, and it's a free gift that he extends to everybody, and all you have to do is reach out and accept it. You repent, you believe, and see You call upon the Lord. When you receive Christ, you are sealed by the Holy Spirit, and you are given a gift, a direct line to the throne room of God where you can communicate with our Father whenever you want, 24/7. Why wait to use that? Call out, Lord Jesus, I'm a sinner. I have sinned and I need you alone. Lord Jesus, I believe you are the one and only begotten Son of God, and that you came down and lived the perfect sinless life, that you died upon that cross, and that you rose again on the third day. Lord Jesus, I need you and you alone. Lord, save me. Take the blinders and the scales off my eyes. Help me to see what is really going on and to understand your scripture. We all say, Lord Jesus, come soon, Maranatha. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Don't put it off. Don't wait. Don't put it off. Don't think that if I can just gather a little bit more of this information and the details and the evidence of what's going on, then that's going to be able to change anything. You can't save yourself. You can't vote your way out of this. The only option, and it is the best option, is Jesus Christ. Don't wait. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. All righty then. What do we got with some questions? Just a couple questions. Jalapeno, Zach, what do you know and think about Peter Thiel doing a 4-part series on the Antichrist and San Francisco? I've answered this question before. Everybody's drawn to it. Again, as I said before, this is not new for him. He's done this stuff before. So this isn't just like one of those things where it's like, oh my goodness, look at what's coming type of thing. This is not new for him. He's always been involved with this type of stuff. And there's nothing to comment on until we know what he's talked about. From my understanding, it's going to be a pretty private event though. But yeah, this is nothing new for him. And there's nothing really to comment on until we know what was said. And again, you can go back and he's done interviews over years and years and years talking about this stuff. So my suggestion is just go, if you're interested, go check out some of the stuff that he's talked about before and he's written about before. And I'm sure you can get a good idea of what he's talking about at that event as well. So, let's see here. Edward, question, do you think Nancy invested? Nancy who? I don't know what Nancy. I don't know what Nancy you're talking about. Sorry. Nancy West? Did Nancy West involve with that? Nancy, what did you get into? No. I don't know the Nancy you're talking about, Edward. Sorry. Let's see here. Mary Lewis, please explain the ring, which is a surveillance thing. Anyone please explain it to me? Are you talking about the Aura ring? I just posted a clip video today on my YouTube channel and on my Rumble channel going over the Aura ring. So my advice is go and watch that video and it'll explain the Aura ring to you, Mary Lewis. You'll get more information if you check out that video than if I try to explain it. So just go check that out. Let's see here. Edward, question, is there an occult castle called Vexelberg? Maybe, not that I know of. Let's see. No, not seeing anything. Just popping up Victor. No castle that there's no, not seeing anything. So I don't think so, unless there's a hidden one out there that doesn't pop up on there. So, and then Stephanie, we got Stephanie with your question. Question: do coconuts migrate? They do not, but I hear that the swallow may carry one from a tropical location, so that's possible. So. All right, guys, that's all we got. Thank you guys for joining me today. And with the Monty Python reference. Thank you guys for joining me today. Appreciate it. Sorry we went a little over time. I apologize, but thank you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed going down the crazy holes that we did and fun stuff. So usual spiel though, if you guys can, like, share, subscribe, get this out to as many people as you can. It's not about views, not about butts and seats, but it is about getting the warning out to people and getting people to Jesus. So if you guys can do me a solid and like, share, subscribe, I would certainly appreciate it. Answer some questions, and for those seeking some type of understanding or whatever's going on that don't know Jesus, hopefully they can find Jesus through this, be introduced, and hopefully that they'll go ahead and give their lives to the Lord. So if you guys can, like, share, subscribe, it helps reach those people, and hopefully we can get them to the Lord. Also, make sure you guys follow me, Rumble and Telegram. Those are my backup channels. If I get booted off YouTube, it would be backup live streaming over on Rumble. And then Telegram, post updates, announcements, and other little things here and there that I can't necessarily put in video format. But if you don't want Rumble, you don't want Telegram, the best place to go is the WretchedWatchmen.com website. So make sure you guys go ahead and bookmark the website. It's your one-stop shop for the latest announcements and podcasts and live streams and everything that you're looking for can be found on the website. So make sure you guys go ahead and bookmark that website so you're always in the know and up to date. If I'm like not live streaming one of these days and I didn't announce it or something like that, you can go ahead and go to the website and find out there. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. And last but not least, if you guys would like to support this channel, what I got going on, I got donation links down below. CashApp, Venmo, and Gifts and Go. The channel is not monetized. I don't make anything from ads, views, anything like that. It runs solely off of your guys' generous donations. You guys are the ones that make this run, and I hope you guys realize that through your donations and your prayers and your encouragement and everything. You guys are such a blessing, and I thank the Lord for all of you. So thank you guys for your support and everything. You guys are just incredible. I love y'all. So yeah, tomorrow is Sunday. Make sure you guys get your wretched, heathenic, misfit booties. The church tomorrow, whether online, in person, doesn't matter as long as it's a Bible-believing, Christ-following church. And if the Lord does not come back by Saturday or Tuesday, yeah, today is Saturday, Tuesday. Lord does not come back by Tuesday, same time, same place. I'll meet you guys right back here. Peace out. Maranatha.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.